Age verification is coming to app stores on your phone, and this is exactly why it's going to fail. For those of you guys that don't know, states like Texas, Ohio, and it could spread to other states as well in the country, are actually adding age verification to the App Store on Apple and Google. For example, in Texas, for everybody who's under 18, they are going to have to ask their parents' permission to download any apps on the App Store starting next year. Is that not insanity? I mean, it's just crazy. Ohio is following suit as well, and Texas has actually been sued, firstly by a student group that is saying that they are having their First Amendment violated by this law, and also by a group called the CCIA. The Computer and Communications Industry Association has actually made a formal lawsuit against the Texas government as well, and they have wrote an amazing article yesterday. I mean, shout out to Trevor and everybody who helped him with this article, line by line telling you guys exactly why age verification on the App Store will fail. So let's just get into this, and man, like I said, this is a great article. App Store age verification bills like the Federal App Store Accountability Act are emblematic of public support for age verification in the sense of, quote, rules for thee but not for me. Public willingness to provide facial scans or government issued ID to access apps is consistently low. Of course it is. Who the hell would want to actually provide a facial scan or a government ID just to download some damn apps? Trevor linked some surveys that were done about people's willingness to share their information with app stores and stuff like that, and the results are exactly what you think. In a recent poll, the CGO, which is a Center of Growth and Opportunity at Utah State, asked Americans if they're, quote, comfortable sharing a government identification document like a driver's license with social media companies in order to verify age. The survey found that 2 out of 3 of Americans are not comfortable sharing their identification document. 1 in 10 Americans were unsure. So the vast majority of people are like, no, I don't want to give over my government ID to social media websites. They also asked if they're comfortable sharing their child's government identification documents with social media companies. On this question, 7 out of 10 Americans were uncomfortable with that prospect. A little over 1 in 10 Americans were unsure. They asked them about biometric information, things like fingerprints and a picture of your face. 2 out of 3 Americans are not comfortable with that. 7 out of 10 were not comfortable with their children using such methods either. So yeah, the results are in, and it's the obvious answer. Nobody wants to hand over their ID. Nobody wants to hand over their biometric information, because who knows if that stuff is going to be safe or not. How many examples do we need? Discord got hacked, everything got leaked, the T app got hacked, among countless other examples. But anyways, facial scan based age estimation is error prone, particularly for teenagers, and it is more than plausible. Yeah, man, just stop popping in my way. And it is more than plausible that a majority of teens and many adults near age thresholds would be classified into the incorrect category under these bills, with a mix of both overestimation and underestimation errors. So the facial scans wouldn't even really do their job right. A 60% majority of teens in the relevant age category, 15 to 19, lack driver's license. I can't get over this thing getting in my way. And a large number have no government issued photo ID. Up to 11% of adults lack non-expired government-issued photo ID that would satisfy age verification mandate. So, for example, for teenagers, most of them don't even have a driver's license or a photo ID that they can even provide. Requiring apps for age verification will create a data breach target for bad actors seeking sensitive biometric and ID information. We already know this is true. It already happened with Discord. Lawmakers in several states and in Congress have proposed bills similar to Utah's App Store Accountability Act that force app stores to verify every user's age and to prevent minors from downloading apps without parental consent. This is a note that I've been trying to tell everybody throughout all these videos. Don't think that because there's no law in your state currently mandating age verification that it won't happen soon. Laws are being rapidly presented in Congress. And even if you're not in the United States, remember, this all started in the UK and now it's in the United States. It's going to probably get to your country soon too, so we need to make sure we fight back against this. In particular, Utah statute requires app stores to request age information and account creation and verify the individual's age category using commercially available methods that are reasonably designed to ensure accuracy. So they're going to be forcing app developers to notify stores of almost any change to the features, functions, and user experience of their apps and make violations liable. God damn it. Then make violations liable for damage and penalties under the unfair and deceptive trade practices. In practice, these approaches are poised to fail. Public support for age checks or age verification in the abstract evaporates when people are actually asked to upload IDs or submit to face scans. So basically, they're talking about the fact that nobody would actually want to give over ID if they are the ones that are having to give it over. And also, a lot of the methods that they use, such as face scans, are not even accurate. They're super error prone. And keep in mind, these are the guys that are actually suing the Texas government. So they are laying out for us, the public, line by line, exactly why they don't support this age verification bill and why they're deciding to take action against the government. I mean, hell, they even reference the whole Death Stranding thing. For those of you guys that don't know, Death Stranding is a super hyper realistic video game where the face scans of the characters look super real. So people were actually using those face scans and using them for age verification, like for example on Discord and stuff, and it was actually working. I mean, if the face scan can't even detect that the screenshot is from a video game, how are they going to properly detect the age of the actual person sending their real picture? Both false positives and false negatives will be a major issue, with underage minors accessing content they aren't supposed to, while teens and adults above relevant age thresholds find themselves locked out of apps that they should have access to. The alternative, providing a government-issued ID, runs into the serious problem that teens and even many adults lack the IDs these bills assume. Moreover, the mass collection of sensitive documents and biometrics creates a very tempting sensitive data target for bad actors and creates a huge centralized data breach risk. Like I said earlier, that's what happened with Discord. Man, if these hackers out there and they're like, oh wait, so the government is going to mandate everybody to hand over an ID just to access the App Store and download apps? Oh shit, this is going to be our next target. They're going to try to hack Apple, get all of our data, and sell all that type of stuff, and they are going to make millions, if not billions of dollars. Polling consistently shows that broad support in principle for protecting kids online is not the same as willingness to upload ID documents or faces to get into apps. Damn it. In a nationally fielded survey, 2/3 of Americans said they are not comfortable sharing their own government ID with social media companies to verify age, and 70% are not comfortable sharing their child's ID. And this is crazy here, right? Because a lot of these lawmakers, a lot of these parents groups that we talked about in my last video about age verification, they're over here like, yeah, you know, we're really scared to give our kids access to the internet because this stuff can happen and that stuff can happen. Those same people are in these surveys, by the way, and they're like, yeah, I don't know, I wouldn't really be comfortable sharing my child's ID. So it is the definition, as the article points out, of rules for thee, but not for me. In the UK, where comparable rules are rolling out under the Online Safety Act, Ipsos, what the hell is that? Okay, it's apparently one of the world's leading market research companies. But they did a bunch of surveys over here, and it shows people by demographic on whether they support or oppose the age verification laws. Almost 7 in 10 support age verification checks on platforms that may host content related to suicide, self-harm, eating disorders, or adult videos. This support is strong across the political spectrum, including 3/4 of 2024 Labor voters, 73% of conservative voters, and 79% of liberal Democratic voters. These are the exact numbers of their survey if you guys want to take a look. But as this article references, while people back age checks in principle, willingness to actually provide proof plummets for common services. Only 19% would provide proof of age for dating apps, 37% would do so for social media, and 38% would for messaging apps. So a lot of these people are like, yeah, we want age verification. We want age checks to keep our kids safe. But when it comes to actually doing it, they're like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if this is safe or not. If most users refuse to upload ID or submit to biometric scanning, app stores face mass lockouts, which undercut the law's stated goals. Moreover, users will face a government-mandated choice between providing a facial scan or government ID with I've never even seen that word in my life.
Concomitant.
Okay, yeah, that word. Exposure to privacy concerns and data breach risk. God damn it, that tab. Are losing access to apps that are important to First Amendment protected activities like accessing information, communicating, and expressing themselves online. So FATE, which is Face Analysis Technology Evaluation, provides the most authoritative test of face scans for age estimation and verification to date. They reported that best case mean absolute error around 3.1 years on Visa quality photos, a mean absolute error wider than both the child or teenager age categories in the App Store Accountability Act. They can be off for about 3 to 5 years based on their pictures. For 18 to 24-year-olds, reported maze around 3 to 5 years are common depending on dataset algorithm that is too imprecise near 13 to 16 to 18 age cutoffs and creates enormous room for adults to be misclassified as a teenager or even a child under the App Store Accountability Act. So they could just scan your face scan incorrectly and boom, you're classified as a child and you can't access the App Store like how you want to. 1 year age estimation accuracy is incredibly low for 13 years old. Across methodologies, just 7.2% to 34.5% of 13-year-olds were correctly estimated within 1 year of their actual age. That is a crazy stat. Only 7.2 to 34.5% of 13-year-olds were correctly estimated. And it's even lower for 17-year-olds. 4.7 to 30.3% of 17-year-olds were correctly estimated within 1 year of their actual age. For 18-year-olds, it's 33% to 62%. So basically, a bunch of people would get blocked access to the App Store just from the error of the face scanning technology. And some people, let's say if they're 16 or 17, they might actually get access to the adult App Store, which is exactly what the government is saying that they don't want. And also, as we talked about earlier, a lot of the teens and adults don't even have the IDs that these bills are requiring. Studies show that only about 25% of 16-year-olds and 60% of 18-year-olds have a driver's license in recent years. Across the 15 to 19 age range, only 40% hold licenses. Researchers estimate 11% of adult U.S. citizens lack non-expired government-issued photo ID suitable for strict ID rules. About 12% lacked a current driver's license and 3% lacked any non-expired photo. Young adults are disproportionately without ID. 15% of 18 to 19-year-olds lacked any photo ID. For passports, it shows that 160 to 170 million valid passports in circulation between 45 to 50% of Americans, with some states below 25% possession. And at the bottom of the article, the most important part is the fact that you can just collect all this information, which could lead to a gigantic data breach risk. Remember that not everybody uses Discord. It's a very popular app, but not everybody uses it. But you know what almost every single person in a first world country uses? Their phone, the App Store, a smartphone. The smartphone is one of the biggest products of all time, one of the most popularly purchased items of all time. So if you have a smartphone and you want to use the App Store and these laws just keep circulating around the United States and other countries, guess what? You're going to have to provide a facial scan or some sort of ID eventually. Do you know what level of data breach that could create? That would be a catastrophically huge data breach to the point where they could have billions, probably freaking hundreds of billions of dollars worth of biometric information they could just sell. And I love the people who wrote this article because they reference the two things that I reference all the time: past data breaches in other apps. The app, you guys have heard me whine about this all the time. A woman's dating safety app that required a selfie with government ID suffered a breach in July 2025 that exposed about 72,000 images, including about 13,000 selfies and photo IDs. Discord disclosed a breach where they said that there was about 70,000 IDs that were leaked, but a lot of people, including myself, speculate that it was a lot more than that. Those were two apps that required some sort of age verification or ID verification, and guess what? They got breached, and now all that information is out there. So the bottom line, people don't want to upload IDs or faces. Nobody wants to provide their information to social media apps or app stores. Face age estimation misfires right where it matters, and a lot of them have a bunch of errors, and millions of people don't even have the IDs that are being requested, and that is without mentioning that gigantic data breach that could happen if we are providing all this information. Huge shout out to Trevor and everybody who helped him write this article. Very, very well done. I really appreciate it. And let's just keep up the battle against age verification, man, because this is a slippery slope. We're slipping hard, man. I mean, look at where this is turning into. First, it was, oh, you need age verification to access adult video websites. People were like, okay, well, whatever, fair enough. Then it turned into social media. Now it's turning into app stores. It's going to go into video games. It's everything now. Look at what has happened. And the more we don't fight back against this, the worse it's going to get. So let me know what your guys' thoughts on the situation are in the comments. Like I said, huge shout out to Trevor and the CCIA for all their good work. Please leave a like in the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more. See ya.